But you cannot guess how he escaped. He tied his shoelaces to his wrists and pressed his fingers hard against the edge of the table. So his finger is broken. When the prison guard did not notice, he threatened his fellow inmates, telling him to steal the medicine Peter wanted. Finding a place where there is no one, he takes out a string, then takes out the bottle of medicine he had hidden before. He tied the top of the bottle with a small string, then tied his teeth with the other end of the string. Then he put the bottle in his mouth, adjusted it in position, then swallowed it as hard as he could. He opened the lid of the lighter to get a small stone inside and stuffed it inside his fingernail. Peter McCabe is a super criminal with an IQ of 150. People call him a prison escape saint. Peter has successfully escaped prison many times and defeated many guards. A police named Frank Connor finds him with the purpose of asking him to save his son, because only Peter's marrow can match with Matt, his son. Peter wanted to take this opportunity to escape again. First, he went to the library to find information about the hospital. While he was downloading the document, he was almost discovered. But in the end, Peter finished downloading the structure diagram of the hospital. On the day he was taken to the hospital, Peter had all set up, though the police sent a lot of people to guard. Next to the hospital is a prison. Frank wants to let Peter rest for a few days there after the surgery, before taking him back. On the other hand, Peter was taken to the hospital. He sat on a specialized platform and got off the car. The police also took 2 sniffing dogs with them, but the dogs were scared to death by Peter. While talking to Frank in the hospital, Peter's voice was a bit strange because his esophagus was filled with the bottle of medicine. But Frank hopes to quickly save his son, so he doesn't pay a lot of attention in that. Doctor ordered to remove the handcuffs for surgery. The police had no choice but to remove the handcuffs for him and let him lie down. Peter has to endure, then silently adjusted the position of his thumb. Wait while the nurse started to inject the anesthetic. Peter immediately bites the bottle of medicine hidden in his mouth. The minutes passed, but the anesthetic was not working. And now Peter removed his hand from the ropes as well. The anesthetic still didn't work. At this time, the police were about to come and check. Then Peter kicked the police with his foot. He sat up and pulled out the Axolin, then ignited the firestone from his fingernail, using fire to burn the policeman. But unfortunately he was injured. He needs to run now, or he won't make it. He spat out the debris in his mouth, then started running. After taking 2 electric shock machines from the hospital, Peter immediately slipped down the pipe, falling into the garbage bin below. At this time the police called more people to come. When Frank got to the garbage bin, Peter crawled back up the garbage pipe. He put on the doctor's shirt and pretended to push the trolley to the radiation department with his limping legs. He threatened the doctor here with a knife, made the doctor use a welding machine to cut a chain on his leg. Then he went back to the emergency room to resew the wound. At the same time here he arrested another doctor. Now that Frank came, Peter threatened Frank if he died, his marrow would not be of any use anymore. The doctor also confirmed this with Frank. He had no choice but to put his gun down and support Peter to get out of here. Peter made the doctor open the door of the warehouse. While the doctor took the acetylene bottle for him, she took the chance to hit Peter with a can that knocked him down. The doctor immediately ran away and made Frank outside. On the other hand, Peter took the acetylene bottle just now and sprayed it all over the room. At that time, Frank Jasden told Peter to surrender. Unexpectedly, Peter lit a fire, causing the warehouse to explode, leading to a power failure in the hospital. At this time, the police had surrounded the hospital. In no other way, Peter had to use Plan B. He was going to run away from the nearby detention center. It was difficult for him to climb over the steel fence, but Peter then punched open the glass of the door. At this time the police discovered him. While his life is at stake, Frank helped him by shooting down the lamp of the police and successfully saved Peter. After entering the prison, Peter used acid to intimidate the head of the prison. He successfully controlled the whole prison. He tied the head of the prison and his subordinates together. Based on the information he found out earlier, he started hitting the wall with the hatchet. He also managed to break out of the way. He ran following the water pipe and got out with a sword. But while Peter was happily escaping from prison, he saw Frank's car chase. At the turn, Peter crashed into Frank's car, causing his car to turn into another lane. Frank, very angry, he drove down the car and continued to chase Peter. Frank ordered to block the passage and then pull the bridge up. The police also sent the supportive helicopter. Peter saw that the situation was not advantageous for him and immediately took out his gun to protest. During the battle between the two sides, Frank helped Peter not get hurt, so he gave a shot for Peter. But Peter never gave up the idea of running away. He was just about to run when he was hit by Frank and he fell into the river. Peter is touched by Frank's actions and the affection he has for his son. Peter agrees to donate marrow to Matt. Of course, the story is not completely over. When he learned that Matt had completely recovered, Peter immediately drew a gun and threatened the police. He said that he was called Super Prison Escape with IQ of 150, then he wouldn't give up so easily. Let's see the next part of the movie to know what he will do next. Thank you for watching my